going on, guys? How we doing? Just gonna give everyone a few minutes to get on. How we doing? Let me quickly get everyone going. Give us about 30 seconds to 2 minutes here, folks. I'm gonna post on social media real quick, live on YouTube. Come join me. Let's chat. Q&A. Let's do some Q&A today too. Awesome. Hold on. Let's get everyone involved. Don't want everyone to miss this good session here. Should be a good session. I'm pretty excited for it. Let's have a good session. Ian Williams, how are we? Curtis, how are we? Good green day. Like to hear that. Brady Sampson, you killed it with that BKKT. Yeah, I forgot to actually add that to the stream. Yeah, great call, Brady. Up, Trevor, what's going on? Krishan Patel, how we doing? Robin Marks, production's always on. Good stuff. Okay. I'm going to give everyone about, looks like there's only 20 people here. I'm going to give everyone about another 30 seconds to a minute. Get stock twits. Okay, live now, recapping day. What else we trade today? What else was a big mover? IRNT. 30 seconds, guys. We'll get going. One, two, three. Hope everyone had a good trading day. Get it going in a second. Mark, and then the last ticker we traded today. Wow, I can't even think. Was it age? It's fine. That works too. All right, let's rock and roll. Let's get started here. I'm exhausted. It's been a crazy week. It feels like Friday, guys. To be honest, it really feels like Friday. I don't know how anyone else feels, but it's been a crazy week. It's Wednesday, and I'm gonna talk through these markets, guys, because there's a lot of I call it riffraff, chop crap going on, and I'm gonna discuss some of that stuff. Zach Webb, how we doing? Ian Williams, Matt Rodonick, Stocking for Gains, how we doing? Great to see you guys on. Zach Webb, Ian, Rose Garage, how we doing? Rodonick, Trevor Scott. Yes, no worries. Appreciate you guys all dialing in. Got about 50 on the stream. We'll go live here. So today, guys, I'm going to talk through this. First off, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a retail trader. I trade with my own money. Everything I do, I try to alert real time based on my trade ideas, what I'm buying and selling, what I'm looking for. Tons of large liquidities, whether it's large caps, small caps, med caps, options, etc. Feel free to join. We have 17,000 followers in the Discord. I have 54,000 followers on Webull, as well as 22,000 followers on StockTwits. You can follow me across different social media channels. If you're not comfortable yet, join the Discord with thousands of our members. You can see all those links in the bio above on YouTube. But awesome, let's get into it. Let's get into the session because we've done some great educational sessions lately. So I'm going to run through today. I'm going to talk through tickers, DWAC, Mark, what else? IRNT was a swing play from 2 weeks ago. It exploded 60% today. That was amazing. That was a great call from 2 weeks swing levels. I alerted it as 12 as a buy, 11s as a buy, and 10s as a larger buy. Big, large buy alert. So either way, you should have booked about 20, 30 book value percent there, 60% from peak today. That was a great trade. It was a big liquidity play, 70 million shares plus traded there, a little over $750 million worth. It's a great trade. DWAC has been the talk of the week. As I said, guys, when there's a supernova like DWAC, 1,200, 1,300%, it's been consolidating really well. And I want to talk through my trade thesis on these plays, guys. I studied a ton last night. I said, hey, guys, this is what my trade thesis is going to be. I'm going to focus on DWAC, Fun, and Mark. Why? There has been hundreds of millions, billions of dollars being traded on these names in the last 3 to 4 business days, trading sessions. So when, there's stocks that are down 50, 60, 70% from those highs after those halts, there's going to be potential bounces a couple days after sort of the selling dries up. And today was a perfect example of that. And that was my trade thesis. I call it the day 3 rule effect. After a big supernova runs hard, I like to try and take a look back at day 3. Typically, it opens red 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15%. I like to try and ride those dips after it bleeds the last couple days for maybe a red to green potential 10, 20, 30% move, maybe a potential short covering squeeze, shorts that might be up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%, right? Everyone wins in stocks, whether it's shorting or longs. In small caps, there's a lot of shorting being done. Shorts are going to get their change off the tops. Bulls are going to get their change off the bottom. So there were some great plays today, and I'm going to talk through ticker DWAC. This is traded. Let's look at the daily chart just so you guys can see this. I mean, this went supernova. We alerted DWAC at a little over 1160 and change. It ran to 175, 1700% gains at peak in only 2 days' time. One of my best alerts ever all time. But if you missed it, no problem. There's been some great scalps along the way. On this candle, we saw a low of 60, and it ran back to like 112 during one of the days. Today we saw a low of 52. We saw a low. I didn't catch 52. My average was in the 55s. Sold at 65s. A little too soon, but guys, this ran to $74 today. That's a $22 move. It's equivalent to a 25 to 30% gain. That was a huge move for this stock. I'm going to walk through sort of where we went long, where I alerted buy alerts, what I saw. So let's talk this through. Today out of the gates, we saw some selling. Yep. I bought 2,500 shares in here at about 55, right on this candle going up here. This candle right in here. And so why I bought that candle, right, is because we saw a washout, right? We saw the washout. So why we saw that was, we saw this washout. It washed out 29, 30% yesterday. I expected maybe a 10 to 15 red day again and maybe a little red to green move, but it could have been tomorrow. But it came earlier. It came ripping up. And we saw this rip in here. I went long right in here. As we went long in here, it moved through here. And so I said if it breaks 62, we could target 72, which would have been the full gap fill. See how 62 right here is a double top? We call this a top, double top. And it broke through here on this candle. That's when I knew we could go higher. Now, it got rejected at the 67, 68 range, but the target from 55 was 62 to 65. Blew out to 67s. Then it sort of consolidated. It looked weak the rest of the day. I thought it might retest 56, 58 zones. But no, it exploded higher into close with a tap of 74, which was the high of day. That's a beautiful move, guys, from down in here. I mean, guys, that's a $22 move. What we call this is a big range percentage move. And you have to think this hit $175, was consolidating in the 80s, 90s, 100s pretty well. So now we're down 50% from those levels. You'd expect some type of cap bounce. Today was a cap bounce. Now, will we see continued upside? Will we see another 5, 10%? Will we see more consolidation? I don't know. That's a great question. Does it drop back to the 55s on lower support level? Or do we see upper trend line and we go right to the 80s? There's another gap fill all the way to 88. So we'll see if we get that potential gap fill down the road, or maybe this trend's down in the 50s, 40s. But that's going to be a potential move. We're going to be watching that. And guess what? As DWAC was going down to the 52s, what did I alert? If you guys remember, Mark ran with DWAC a while ago. 3 or 4 days ago, along with fun. These are all sympathy names. Sympathy names typically have similar price action in terms of the charting look-alike on what the actual supernova is going to do. So DWAC was the supernova. What I like to find is sympathies that run hard. Fun traded, I think it was 750 million shares the other day. What is that? $2, $3, $4, $5 billion worth of liquidity. Ridiculous amount of buyers. I mean, guys, these markets, the liquidity is there. There is so much volume. You could get in with block buys, block sells, no problem. The algo switch is turned on right now. And you can see it across all the board. We're seeing 200% runners on a day. We're seeing a lot of this chop in the markets, a lot of pops, a lot of drops. It's not fun to trade. Have you seen a lot of the dumpers? I haven't been trading any of those. I've been trying to find the ones that have stabilized charts, great news catalysts, and tons of liquidity before I enter or exit the trade. So this mark, I alerted this off $2 right in here. This is where I took a position. I took about 100,000 shares here at 2, and I sold right in here at about 225 zones. That's about a 10 to 12, 15% move. And this is when DWAC started to spike to 65, 66, because I knew that the chart would, and MM would, go, the price action would go with the flow of DWAC. So this was a nice 10, 12% gain for me. I think I netted about 20-ish, 22K-ish in there, maybe 25K. I'd have to check. That was a nice gain in there for me. DWAC, I netted about 18K in there. Took some losses on SPY puts early, made some back on the gains. Ended up having a green day of 41,000, but it could have done better. I was using mostly small size throughout the day. Could have been better, but not mad at myself. A lot of chop, so if I can just continue to get through the weeds here, come out green, a lot of these big liquidity names, I'll be happy. I'm only looking for 5, 10, 15, 20% scalps. Seems that a lot of people are chasing, looking for 100% gains. It never works out. If you have to ask yourself, why am I in this trade? Usually those trades don't work out. So hopefully that's helpful. In terms of, fun was the same thing today. Fun ran the same off that. So we saw the same move, right? We bottomed out in here at 930 and we ripped to new highs at 556. Great range. That's almost a full dollar there. What's that? 25% move, 30% move. That's great range, guys. Next up, I want to talk about IRNT. Everyone's been saying, Spud, when's this going to pop? When's this going to pop? $10. I've been alerting this at 9, 10, 11s. For about 2 weeks now. I said target 12, maybe 13s. It ran the 13s about, I think, 4 or 5 days back. We're now seeing that explosion. We saw an explosion of 1733 this hit today. I expect this to die out more tomorrow. This was a huge pump / short squeeze. 700 shares traded, almost $1 billion today. Probably over, maybe almost over $1 billion today. Another great liquidity name. I expect this maybe to retest 1270s, maybe 1340s tomorrow. We'll see. A lot of dumping on after hours, big sell blocks, 313,000 there. So I don't expect this to potentially move again, but we were in this in 10s and 11s. So anything above that's profit range. So at minimum, you could be up 20, 30% if you're a premium member, you're a premium subscriber. You saw that. That was IRNT, guys. And you saw the daily chart, right? Saw a lot of consolidation in here, right? You saw a lot of consolidation, right? Right in here. And then the pop, right? Similar chart that I like personally, that I took a position today is TMC. I took about a 50,000 position here at 307 before the bell. I like this. If you see the consolidation, we're seeing new low. This is new lows. I mean, it's an ugly looking chart, but it's the same kind of chart as IRNT. I'd like to see a pop to 380s, 390s, maybe even a pop back to 5. So I'm liking this one as a potential multi-day swing down here. It might take a few more days to consolidate, then maybe the rip to 4. I'd like to see 4 on this name. I think IRNT, all these oversold names are slowly getting hit. DPW, another name I alerted today. We're at 230. I overnighted, I think a decent chunk. I overnighted 100,000 shares at 239 average. I do like this name. Look at this chart. We've seen tons of consolidation in here. I'd love to see a rip to 270s. 295 would be the full gap fill for me. That would be a nice move for me. I like this name. I didn't love the action towards the end of the day, but the SPY dumped. So I'll be watching this tomorrow for a potential 3, 4, 5, maybe 10% move. So I'll be watching this. Look at this consolidation. We see a support dip off 220s, support dip off 220s, 20s, 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 20s. Everything's off of 220s. So there's a lot more upside for me, 20, 30% versus 5, 10% downside risk. And those are the plays I like to take. So for me, there's not much downside risk. Maybe I lose 10, 15K on this name. But the max upside for me could be 50 to 100K. So I do like that position. I do like this position. I'm going to be watching this one. What else? What else do we like? So those were potential movers today, guys. And then we saw the SPY. SPY calls ran intraday about 150% there. I've been on fire with these calls. SPY puts, Been on fire with these. So we saw a tap out of 58 yesterday. And now we're starting to finally see some volume. Volume was low today until the afternoon when we started to see some block sells, which is great. We finally saw a dump out today. I'm hoping we potentially see a flush back to 448s. That would be beautiful. Maybe even a flush down to 443. I'm still holding my 450 puts December 31st. I hope those are helpful. I mean, I'm hoping those are going to hit nicely. I do think that SPY's it's kind of double topped up here. I know we broke all-time highs, but If we could dump below 450, we might see a nice push down. We still never got that 10%, 15% correction. Although I'm looking for it, I really would love to see that fill to 421, 415 zones. I hope we get it soon. Otherwise, we might close at all-time highs at the end of the year. Where it looks like looking that way. But I still have my SPY puts as a hedge. So just to check that out. So that's the SPY. Some interesting action there. But I really want to talk through the markets, guys, and then let's get to a Q&A. I'll be fast. Let's do about 2 minutes of market talk, then about Q&A. In terms of markets, in terms of small cap markets is what I mean. If you guys talk to these small cap markets, we're seeing 200% movers in a day. But guess what, guys? They're moving on nothing. There's just liquidity movers. In my mind, those are bad plays unless you're in and out quickly for 2, 3, 4, 5% on scalps. Otherwise, these are not plays I would be overnighting. I have not overnighted one of those crazy plays because I call it bag holder central. They're huge pumps. And then you see the dumps the next day on the downside, 30, 40, 50%. I mean, it's crazy. Some of these stocks dumping the next day. I think you should stay away from them unless you're, scalping quick in and out. The liquidity is there. As I mentioned, you could go in with size and get out fast, which is why a lot of these stocks are holding up. So there's a lot of chop. And for me, I've been trying to sit at my monitors really focused and not get a hold of all the noise that's going on. There's a lot of social media nonsense. There's a lot of, hedge fund stuff going behind the scenes. There's tons of big buyers, tons of big sellers. I'm trying to just zone in on the charts, find my liquidity bounce, find whether it's a short or long trade, and focus in, nail the trade, 5, 10, 15, 20%, close my eyes and move on to the next one. And I'm really trying to do that. And this week I've done a great job. I'm up about $110,000 this week, a little over 7% of my account. So I'm super pumped. I'm focused on that, and I'm trying to zone out the noise for the group. There's a lot of nonsense and chaos going on. Focus on the real liquidity leaders. Look for the stocks that are trading $500, $1 billion, $2 billion over a span of maybe a day or a couple days. Those are the stocks you want to keep your eyes on because of liquidity. You want to look for the biggest volumes, biggest price action in terms of where shares are being bought, where shares are being sold. The third thing I want you guys to be really conscious of is oh geez, I lost my train of thought there. The third thing I want you guys to be conscious of is what did I say? Price action. Number 2, number 1 in terms of FOMO. I lost my train of thought there. What's the third one I'm talking about? Anyway, I'll get back to that. I don't know. I totally lost my train of thought there. Sorry about that. Anyway, so you guys want to be focused and sort of get rid of the chop, zone out the noise, and focus on your supports, your entries, right? Where there's a double bottom, where there's a triple bottom, where you're seeing big buyers, where you're seeing big sellers. And then the last thing I want to say is don't be greedy. When a stock hits 10%, maybe scale some out. When a stock hits 20%, maybe scale some out. When a stock hits 50%, maybe scale some out. When an option hits 100%, maybe scale some out. There's nothing wrong with locking profits. At the end of the day, I'm here to coach and teach as many thousands of you as I do in the Discord daily. I'm trying so hard to coach and teach. The end goal, guys, is account growth. Whether it takes you 2 years to get 100%, whether it takes you 10 days to get 100% on your account, the end goal is growth, right? You have to remember, every hedge fund, every index fund, every large trader, institutionalized traders, they are all going for 10% a year. 10% a year. Some of our plays are hitting 10, 20, 30% a day. Do always keep that in the back of your head when you're trying to compare yourself to others, right? So if you get 20, 30, 50% on your portfolio in a week, think about how awesome that is. 10% a day is 50% a week, 200% a month, 2,400 a year, 2,400% a year if you can net 10% a day. That would be the top 98, 99 percentile of all traders. So do keep in mind, right? You're going to take losses. You're going to take wins. You're going to see wins. The end goal, and I will always say this to every one of my students that I coach, the end goal is to keep your losses small, but let your winners run. That's the end goal in trading. Losses tight, losses small. Let your big winners win. Because all I say is it takes one big winning trade to change a year, to change an account, to change someone's life, right? We've seen testimonials in the Discord. Someone buying a new car, someone buying a new ring for their fiance. We've seen tons of testimonials, right? They're focused, they're disciplined. Things can go your way if you're disciplined on the charts, disciplined on the price action, and locking in your trade, okay? So don't be greedy. Lock those gains when you're comfortable, when the price targets are hit, and move on. Awesome. So I'm now going to look at the YouTube chat. Let's do some Q&A. Get your pencil pens ready. Get your notepads. We got about 100 people on the stream. Let's do a Q&A, guys. First off, before we do Q&A, everyone make a comment right now if you're listening. Was this session helpful? Were these charts helpful? Is me just talking through a lot of this helpful? I just want to see if this is helpful, and if so, I'll continue to sort of do some of these types of lessons. So do please hit me with some comments there if this is helpful for you guys. And we'll get to some Q&A shortly. Okay, let's get to some Q&A. I'll start with Trevor Scott. What does it mean to read the tapes opposed to reading level 2? Tape is more so a performance of like what a stock's trading, whether it's a day, week, hourly, 4 hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, sort of look alike. The tape looks good, right? So if you're seeing higher and higher lows, consolidation, lower and lower lows, whether you're shorting or going long, that's what it means to look at the tape. Tape also can refer to like a level 2 data in terms of what you're seeing from buying and price action. So that's what tape means. Hopefully that's helpful. Twilio and Service Now are down after ER. Do you see an uptrend in the short term? A lot of tech names are missing a Vishnu, Kumar. A lot of tech names, big tech, large tech are missing earnings. I think we've seen almost like a 60-40 miss to win ratio here. You're seeing the SPY start to go down because of some large tech names. They're outweighting the SPY in a lot of cases. I'm not super bullish on big tech here. I do think we still need that pullback. There was a tiny little 2, 3, 4, 5% dip, but everyone bought it. I want more of a washout. I want like 10, 15, 20% on some big tech names before I start to really go long. So I don't necessarily, I wouldn't slam those with buy alerts right now, Twilio and Now. For your long-term IRAs or anything like that. So I would just keep it on the back burner. Brandon, okay. King Trint, I've seen you said in the Discord about people growing small accounts around 1,000. Is there a way you can explain it a bit more? Because getting the consistency is very difficult. Yeah, so King, the consistency is tough with a small account, right? If you go in, you make your 10, 15, 20%, sell it, move on to the next trade. Unfortunately, it takes a while to get to that 25K limit until you can unlimited day trade. But guess what? Do not let the system stop you from achieving your dreams and goals. Because guess what, guys? You can make multiple brokerages accounts. You could have a Robinhood, a Webull, a TD Ameritrade. You could have a Fidelity. You can open $1,000 accounts or $500 accounts in all of them. And guess what? You could probably get 3 trades per week in each one. So I highly recommend you open multiple brokerage accounts. That's how I started. I still have a lot of open accounts. TradeZero, Webull, Fidelity, TD, a ton of accounts open. And that's how you could start in your small K, right? Small challenge. You could day trade 3 trades on your one account. Then the next day you trade on another account. You could keep going. And this way you can aggregate over time the larger gains. Hopefully that's helpful, King Trent. And if you only have one brokerage, totally fine, King. You can make those gains, keep those losses tight. Let your winners run. It just may take you a long time to get 100, 200, 300, 400, 500%, etc. When you say big buyers, how can I get this information? Zubair Sultani, sorry if I said your name right. You could see the price action, right? You could see, I call it candlesticks. If you look at candlesticks, right? So let's just look at the SPY, for example, right? So this would be a candlestick, right? This would be about 1 million shares went through and it dropped, right? So that's a big seller, right? Another 1 million shares went through. That's a big seller. Then we had 1.9 million go through. That's a big buyer. So you can look at the volume on the tape here, right? You can see the candlestick. So if there's a huge green candle over red, that probably means we're pretty bullish. If there's a huge red candle over and the rest of the green candles are tiny, that's probably pretty bearish. So I used candlestick charts to determine where its ticker may actually go in the future. I hope that's helpful. Who did I just say? Zubair, hopefully that's helpful, buddy. Robbing Mark, so going in with size is better. I use a tight stop loss. I understand the charts. Honestly, robbing, it all depends. When there's a ton of liquidity, size is sometimes good. If you can predict where the stock's going to go and maybe catch a dip and ride it up. Or maybe if you're short, you catch a top and you short it down. But to be honest, size can also help you take big losses. I've taken really big losses this year because I've oversized 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, $200,000 losses where I've taken too much size. Even though the chart's there and I got a great dip buy, it just keeps going down, dip, 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 without a stop loss. That being said, you have to have those tight stop losses because they save you from getting hit. Nikki M, best scanner. Best scanner. I like trade ideas. I use Webull as well. Top gainer, volume inflow. That's just eh. FinViz I also like a lot. So hopefully that helps. John Gerard, I don't usually trade after 10:30, especially if I hit my goal. That's a great rule. Stopping trading at 10:30. Don't overtrade. Overtrading is where I take my big losses as well. Henry Rubio, how long did it take you to become profitable? Years ago, I started with about 100K. I probably lost about 90,000 of that. It takes a lot of losses. Years ago, it takes a lot of losses to really learn how to become a good trader. In my opinion, you can only learn the right way, and that's unfortunately from losing. So then I started an account challenge about a year and a half ago from 15K. I've turned that all over 2 million. I'm continuing with that. Obviously, I have other swing accounts, inherited IRAs, etc., SEP IRAs, all that. So, it takes time. It takes time to really learn a craft, learn a skill set. It takes time to see price action. It takes time to really see where a stock's going to go. So hopefully that's helpful. I mean, just got to keep studying and studying. Go in my YouTube and check out all my past video, guys. I have hundreds of great comments and feedback from these videos. I'm not charging $2,000, $3,000 to run a course, guys. I'm not going to be those guys on YouTube. You're going to find more information in my free just chats right now. You're going to learn so much just from this versus going to pay an obscene amount of money for some nonsense course or something like that. So go past my YouTube videos, take 3-4 hours, get a pen and a notebook, and you're going to learn support entries. You're going to learn indicators. You're going to learn a bunch of stuff. Go check it out. You're going to learn a ton, and I highly recommend it. How do you choose your entry point after a big run of the day when you're trying to catch the next bounce? Look for supports, Kevin. Kevin, I always love to look candlesticks, right? Let's look at let's look at what's a good trade. DWAC. Let's look at the 5-minute chart today just to show you from a supports, right? So we saw a bottom here, then we saw a bounce up, sell out, then we saw another candle. So you saw that support for now was 53 to 55, right? And the new resistance was 56. Once it broke through 56, we knew that there's big support at 53 to 55. New buyers now come in after seeing that it broke 56. They ride it up to the top wave. Now, obviously, there's going to be selling pressure come. When the selling pressure comes, look at this big candle. That's where the run started, right? This big candle. What's the low on that candle? 58.76. Guess what? What it hit earlier? I guarantee it probably hit somewhere around 58. And bingo, 58.85 right there at the bottom of this candle. What happened? Big buyers came back in and rode it back up all the way to $74. So you want to look where the big candles are, where the big buying is taking place, right? If the bottom's in here at 58, that's a new low. I mean, that's a new higher low, right? The lower low is 53 zones, 55. The higher high is 58 zones. Now we have lower, we call this, right? We call this a plane. We have everything over 58.75 is bullish. Everything under 58.75 is bearish down to 52. Does that make sense? But this is how I read. This is how I look at these things, right? If it drops below 58, we're going to see a flush to 53. I'm not buying it anywhere between 50 and 53. That's a 10% move. Anything above 58, we could see top side to 67. It's called range, right? So that's 5 to 10% range, right? This is how traders look at things, guys. This is how I look at things. And that's just being from experience. This is everything I've seen, right? So hopefully that's helpful, Kevin. Brandon Doman, what strategies to get out of halt downs in terms of limit sells, waiting to reactive bounce? Honestly, Brandon, if you could find a secret way how to get out of halts up or down, let me know, because that'd be a magical theory. I don't know any secret strategy to get out of halt downs and ups. Unfortunately, it's great when you're in a halt up. Unfortunately, it's terrible when you're a halt down. But I typically like to, if I'm in a halt down, I typically like to sell the quick cap bounce after the halt. If I'm in a halt up, I'll ride some to see if we go new HOD. Thoughts on BKKT? I was super bullish on BKKT at around 22, 21, 23 zones. It ran way more than expectations, guys. I think it almost hit $30 today. That was a phenomenal move. That was about 25-30% there. So, William Fowler, how do you deal with taxes? I pay taxes like everyone else does. I'm a day trader, so what is it, 30, 40, 50% of all my gains on my day trades? So whatever the heck that is, I don't know. My accounting team works with that. John Gerard, honestly, the day trade limit taught me to only take A+ setups when I first hit 25K. Yep. Average stop loss. What's the type stop loss? If I'm using big size, typically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%. If I'm using smaller size, I'll do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10% being the last. If I have smaller size, I'll typically average down after that 8, 9, 10%. If I have high conviction in the play, if I know it's going to bounce, I just may have mistimed it, I can average down a little bit. Do you recommend options or regular stocks with a cash account? Both are good to grow. Options, you can lose it all though. So I always go super small with options because you can lose 100% of what you put in. It's harder to do that with an equity or stock. Can you go a tad bit slower, CR margin? Yes, I'm just trying to get to everyone's questions. I apologize. I'm going probably a little too slow, a little too fast. My fault. John Gerard, CRTX bottomed out pretty hard at 14s. I know it ran from my 16 alert all the way to 22, 21 zones. That's 30%. It bottomed out 14s for now. I think there might be a couple more red days, maybe before a potential bounce. Not super bullish on that one. Robbie Marks production. I look at trying to wait for dip entries instead of maybe riding a top out. You want to be buying the dips and selling the rips. That's really the end goal in day trading. You want to be buying dips, selling rips. So for DWAC, that was a great trade. You want to be buying the 1-2% flushes and selling the 3-4-5% rips, if that makes sense, right? So I definitely just keep that one on peak there. If that's all the questions, guys, I just ran through a ton of questions. There's still 100 of you on stream. Go rewatch the stream. I hope this is super helpful. Yeah, I got nothing else, guys. I just, stay focused, stay hungry, keep studying. There's a ton of great opportunity here, guys. A ton of great opportunity. A ton of great opportunity in these markets. You have to be taking full advantage because, guys, there's tons of liquidity here. And, if you could catch 5, 10, 50% moves, take them. Take them, run for the hills, move on to the next trade. And that's sort of what I'm doing in these markets. I'm playing what's given to me. I'm going to continue to do so until we see a sort of shift in the market sentiment or, a shift in the, the SPY. Right now, the SPY is at all-time highs, pretty bullish. We topped out yesterday, but we'll see where that goes. But yeah, guys, stay focused and keep studying. Definitely DM me or ping me. You could do that on StockTwits, Webull, or Discord. I highly recommend subscribing to our Discord channel. We have 17,000 members. We have a full-time options professional trader in our Discord. A great options guru, very knowledgeable, trades intraday, SPY, Microsoft, Facebook. A lot of large caps options. I myself trade some options on the indexes, but I'm primarily focused on large cap and small cap equities. So, and then we do also have a little bit of crypto, but not so much in a crypto channel, just chatter, but no alert trader there. But highly recommend checking out the Discord. You'll learn a ton, just like you are learning here. And as we're trying to grow as many accounts as we possibly can, get as many new millionaire students as we possibly can as well. So cheers. Thanks for all your loyalty to the Spud Zone. I hope everyone's learning a lot. Let's continue to crush these markets and let's close out this year strong, team. Keep studying, keep focused. Spud Zone out. Have an awesome night, guys. We'll catch up on the next Q&A in the next session, maybe next week. Have a lovely night, folks. You can see my tech team also put the link in the comments below to join the Discord. Tech team, if you guys could just put that link below for the team, that would be great. Feel free to choose that link, and that will send you straight to the Discord. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful night.